A very good morning to one and all. I am Priyanka Raghunath Sapkar from Goregaon MPS Municipal Secondary School East. So today we are going to continue with the topic of carbon compounds. But before that, we are going to discuss about the Science Day, which is going to be tomorrow on 20th Feb. So let's start. So National Science Day, Science for Nation Building. Okay. So as you know that National Science Day is celebrated on February 28th every year across India. But do you really know why do we celebrate this day? The National Science Day commemorates the invention of the Raman effect by the great Indian physicist Sir Chandrasekhara Venkata Raman. Sir Raman on this same date had invented the Raman effect in the year 1928. So for his contribution in the field of science, Sir Raman was awarded with the Nobel Prize in Physics in the year 1930. So by celebrating this day as National Science Day, we show our dignity and respect to the famous Indian physicist for his contribution in the field of science. So now let's talk about our respected Honorable Sir C.V. Raman. Sir C.V. Raman was born on November 7, 1888 at Tiruchirappalli in Tamil Nadu. His father was a lecturer in physics and maths. So he studied at St. Aloysius Anglo-Indian High School, Visakhapatnam Presidency College, Madras. So in 1904, he obtained a BSc degree from the University of Madras. So where he stood first and won the gold medal in physics. So in 1907, he completed his MSc degree at the University of Madras with highest distinction. So from 1907 to 1933, he worked in Kolkata at the Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science. So doing research on various topics in physics. So on February 28, 1928, Sir Raman led an experiment with Indian physicist K.S. Krishna on the scattering of light when he discovered what now is called the Raman effect. So Raman effect explains the effect on the scattering of light, so when passing through the different materials. So here, likewise, the experiment was held. You can see a telescope, a sample, two filters, then from the sample, how the scattering takes place. So then what do you mean by the Raman effect? So the Raman effect states that when a wave of light comes out of a liquid, some part of this light wave is scattered in a direction that is different from the direction of the incoming light wave. So this research shows why the color of the seawater looks blue. Raman effect is about the flexible distribution of the photon particles, as you can see here. Experiment of Raman effect, how the scattering takes place and how the change in the direction also takes place. So now, after the retirement of Sir Raman established the Raman Research Institute in Bangalore. So Sir Raman passed away on November 21st, 1970. So the main objective of National Science Day is to bring awareness to the people about the importance of science in our daily life and to encourage the people by popularizing the science and technology. So every year this day is celebrated with a particular theme. Now, what are the motives behind celebrating the National Science Day? This day is also celebrated in our daily life to shed the light on the importance of the science, so that the achievements and the efforts in the field of science for human welfare are shown. So National Science Day is celebrated to discuss the important issues in the field of science. This is also one of the motives to celebrate the Science Day. So creating and applying new techniques for the development of science, then efforts in the field of science and also for the human welfare. It is essential to understand and demonstrate the achievements, then provide an opportunity for those people in the science field who want to develop their career, then encourage people and popularize the science and technology. So these are all the motives why we celebrate the Science Day. So Science Day is celebrated with the memory of Sir C.V. Raman. So he was the physicist and he was the first person to get the Nobel Prize from India. So here you can say that that's why we celebrate the Science Day. So in many of the schools, colleges, okay, in many of the research institutions, this day is celebrated a lot, and there are a lot of competitions are held. Okay, so likewise we celebrate the Science Day. Okay, so this was all about the Science Day, which is commemorating tomorrow. So a very happy National Science Day to all. Then some of the quotes of the science given by some of the scientists, that science and everyday life cannot and should not be separated. It is said by the Rosalind Franklin. Then nothing in the life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fearless. It is said by Marie Curie. You might have known and you might have heard the name Marie Curie. Okay, the saddest aspect of life right now is that the science gathers knowledge faster than society gathers wisdom. So it is said by the Isaac Asimov. Science is not only compatible with spirituality, it is a profound source of spirituality. It is said by the Carl Sagan. So these are the different quotes on science, which is given by a few of the scientists, few of the renowned scientists. Okay. So let's come towards the topic of carbon compounds. Today we will see about the causes of versatile nature of carbon. So there are 4 reasons for the versatility of the carbon. Okay. So as we saw that carbon atoms, like some other atoms, share the valence electrons to form the covalent bonds. So similarly, we also saw the structure of the sample of the simple carbon compound methane. Okay, so but carbon is different than the other elements. So the number of compounds formed from carbon is extremely large. So in the beginning, we saw that except for the objects formed from metals and glass or soil, all the other objects are made from carbon. So in short, the entire living kingdom is made from carbon. So our body is also made from carbon. So millions of molecules ranging from the small and the simple methane molecule to the extremely big DNA molecule are made from carbon. So the molecular mass of the carbon compounds, it ranges up to 10 raised to 12. So this means that carbon atom come together in a large number to form an extremely big molecule. So these are all about how the carbon is versatile. Then carbon can form different bonds with the other elements from the periodic table. Okay, then it can form multiple bonds also. Then it can form a different structures also. So that's why it is versatile in nature. So the 4 reasons for the versatility of carbon is catenation, tetracovalency, multiple bond formation, and isomerization. These are the 4 reasons. So we will see one by one. First is the catenation. Now in chemistry, catenation is the bonding of atoms of the same element into a series called as a chain. So catenation occurs most readily with carbon, so which forms covalent bonds with other carbon atoms to form longer chains and structures. So this is the reason for the presence of the vast number of organic compounds in nature. Now you might have seen, for example, you can see here. Now carbon of same atoms you can see same element. Now carbon with the similar atom, it forms bonds. Now here the chains can be either a linear chain, or you can call it as a straight chain, a branch chain, or a ring chain. Now here in this case, you can first see the middle one example, linear chain. Linear chain means straight chain. Now the carbon-carbon bonds are formed in a straight chain manner. Okay. The carbon is attached to the two carbon present to the adjacent side of it. Okay. And it forming a straight chain. And whereas in the branch chain, which is the first example, you can see that some of the carbon, they are attached with 3 or 4 elements. So elements, or you can say atoms. So here in this case, what happened? They are forming a branched chain-like structure. That means to few of the atoms, some of the different atoms are also present. So here you can say that branch chain, linear chain, and ring chain. Ring chain is also known as the closed chain. Here you can see the example below, that a closed chain-like structure is formed by the 3 carbon, by the 5 carbon, by the 6 carbon, and they are forming bond with each other, and it is closed, it is not open. Whereas the linear chain is open from first and last side. And whereas the branch chain, it is open from first and last side, and the branching compound which is present attached to that carbon, it is also open. So here in this case, you can see that different carbons, they attach with each other, they form bonds with each other, and they can be arranged in a different form. Either they can be arranged in a straight chain form, they can be arranged in a branch chain form, or they can be arranged in a ring chain or closed chain like structure. So here, with the help of dash formula, you can see that carbon-carbon, they are forming. Now carbon is tetravalent, so it will form 4 bonds with the other element. So here you can see in the first example of a straight chain, carbon is attached to carbon, and one carbon is attached to, first carbon is attached to 3 hydrogen. It will attach to 3 hydrogen. Then the second carbon will be having 2 carbon and 2 hydrogen. So likewise, the chain will go on. Whereas in branch structure, you can see that here branch structure is present. Carbon is attached to the carbon, where 3 or 4 compounds will be attached to that particular carbon, as it is tetravalent. So it has only tendency to form 4 bonds. So those 4 bonds can be formed either with the same element or with the other element. Okay. Then closed chain structure. Here you can see closed chain structure. Carbon-carbon, they are forming bonds with each other, and the chain is closed, and each carbon is having 4 bonds. Now tetra covalency. Now tetra means 4, and covalency means, covalency when we are talking about, as you know that the carbon, they are forming bonds by sharing the pair of electrons. So here the atomic number of carbon, we know it is 6, and its electronic configuration will be 2, 4. Okay. So here 4 is the number of valence electrons. And what is the valency? Valency is the number of electrons it requires to complete its octet. So here it will require 4 more electrons to complete its octet. That means its valency is 4. So as the valency is 4, so what happens? It requires 4 electrons to complete its octet. That's why it will form 4 bonds with the other element. Okay. So either it can form 4 bonds with other element, or it can form the same, it can form the 4 bonds with the same element. Okay. So here, in other words, carbon has 4 electrons in the valence shell, and thus needs 4 more electrons to complete its octet. So therefore, carbon is tetravalent. So since the carbon atom has high ionization energy and moderate electron affinity, so therefore, it is very difficult for carbon to either lose or gain 4 electrons to achieve the nearest inert gas configuration. So consequently, carbon always combines with other atoms by mutual sharing of electrons, and thus it forms a covalent bond. As we know that whenever there is a mutual sharing of electrons takes place, then it forms a covalent bond. So thus carbon is always tetravalent, that is tetra means 4 and valent means valency. So that is it forms the 4 covalent bond and other with other atoms. So here one of the example is given of methane and carbon tetrachloride. So methane, you can see carbon is forming 4 bonds with hydrogen, and in carbon tetrachloride it is forming 4 bonds with chlorine. Now as we know that now here one particular word was there of ionization energy. Now ionization energy is nothing but the minimum amount of energy which is required to remove the most loosely bound electron of an atom. So here you can see that it is having the high ionization energy and it is having modern electron affinity. That means to gain electron, it is having the less affinity towards it. Okay, and ionization means to form the ions, it is having the high ionization energy to form the ions. So here in this case, what happens? What it will do, so instead of losing and gaining the electrons, what it will do? It will mutually share its electrons. So that's why they form a covalent bond with the other element or with the same element. So here it forms a 4 covalent bond with the other element. Then comes the ionization energy of carbon. So carbon has the highest ionization energy in the group. Okay, so those atoms having the stable electronic configuration have greater ionization energy. Now, which atoms are having the stable electronic configuration, which are having their octets fulfilled, completely filled or fulfilled? So those will be having a stable electronic configuration. So then the element having the completely filled octet or either and half filled octet, so those elements are having the highest ionization energy. So the stable electronic configuration means either half filled or fully filled valence orbitals. Okay, so in carbon, valence orbitals are half filled with same electron spin, thus it increases its stability. So that's why carbon is stable. So it neither completely lose nor completely gain electrons. That's why it share electrons. Why? Because it is stable. Why it is stable? Because its valence orbitals are half filled. And as half filled with the same electron spin, so it increases its stability. So here you can see that when we are filling the atomic number with the help of electrons, so opposite spins we have to show likewise. So first 1s orbital will be filled and then 2s and 2p. Now 2s and 2p will be considered together. Okay. Now what happens if in the 2s, until and unless the second series completely half filled, the pairing does not take place. So here in this case, what happens? One of the electron from the 2s will go to the 2pz orbital. And likewise, you can see that 2s, 2px, 2py, and 2pz orbitals, they are having the single electron. So as it is half filled, so that's why it is stable. So that's why what happens? It will by the mutual sharing of electrons, it will form bonds. So that's why carbon is a tetravalent. It is having its valency 4. Its valence electrons are also 4. Valence electrons means the number of electrons which are present in the valence shell. And valency means what? The number of electrons required to fulfill the valence shell. So here in this case, it requires 4 electrons. That's why its valency is 4. And as its valency is 4 and requires 4 electrons, so that's why they will form, by sharing of electrons, they will form 4 covalent bonds. That's why it is known as the tetra covalent. Okay, this is one of the black and white structure of the atom of carbon, where the middle one is the nucleus, and nucleus contains protons and neutrons. Protons are the positively charged particles and neutrons are the neutron particles. And what about the other electrons which are moving around the nucleus is electrons, and electrons are negatively charged particles. which is present in the outermost shell, those electrons only will react. Okay, and those electrons should be, means the octet should be incomplete. So here in this case, the number of electrons present in the outermost shells are 4. So naturally, what will happen? Carbon will share its 4 electrons with the 4 other elements. So here in this case, methane, structure of methane is given here. Hydrogen also contains 1 electrons, and carbon contains 4 electrons. Now what carbon will do? It will take 4 hydrogen, and from 4 hydrogen, one electron from each hydrogen, it will share its electrons, one electrons, which is present in the valence orbital, and likewise it will form 4 bonds. 4 covalent bonds will be formed. Then comes the multiple bond formation. Now, whenever we are talking about the multiple bond, now multiple means many. So here many bond formation takes place. So in this case, what happens? Carbon can form the multiple bonds to itself and with the atoms of other elements. Okay. So either it can form carbon single bond, carbon double bond, carbon triple bond with another carbon, or it can form carbon and oxygen, the bond present in between are double bond. The bond between carbon and nitrogen are triple bond. So likewise, it can form multiple bonds with the other elements also, not only with itself, but also with the other. So carbon can only make 4 bonds since it has 4 valence electrons. So the capacity of the carbon to form bonds are 4. It will not form less than it, and it will not form more than it. 4 bonds, that means it will form 4 bonds only. Then, and most often it can form bonds with the hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur. So because the carbon-carbon single bond and carbon-hydrogen bond, now here you can see the measurements are given here. 348 kilojoule per mole is the strength of the carbon-carbon single bond. And what is the strength of the CH bond? CH bond is highest as it contains 412 kilojoule per mole of strength. So it is stronger bond. So single bond, whenever single bond is present, it is stronger bond. And carbon compounds are stable whenever the bonds are stronger, because if bonds will be stronger, so naturally it will not be easy to break that bond. So here, as these single bonds are strong, so carbon compounds are stable in this case. Now carbon can form ring structure and chain structure, as we have seen earlier. Branch structure, linear structure, ring structure, flow structure. So likewise, these structures are formed by the carbon. So here you can see type of bond. If it is a single bond, then one of the example is of methane, where the carbon forms covalent bond with hydrogen, as carbon is tetravalent, so it will form 4 bonds with 4 hydrogen, and it will share its electrons, one electron each from the hydrogen. Then as single bond is present, so the class of compound will be alkane. Now you might have studied about the alkane, alkene, and alkyne. So here alkane means what? Alkane. Whenever alkane is present, then always there will be a single bond. Whenever there is an alkene is present, then remember that it is a double bond. The double bond will be present between carbon and carbon. Okay. So then after that, whenever there is an alkyne, so there will be triple bond present between carbon and carbon. Now in this case, double and triple bond will not be formed with the hydrogen. Why? Because hydrogen is having only 1 electron in the valence shell, and that means it is having only 1 as its valency. So hydrogen will always form a single bond only. So as the hydrogen is having the capacity to form a single bond only, so it will not form double bond. So that's why carbon will form double bond with either another carbon, okay, or you can say with oxygen also it can form a double bond. So here in this case, carbon will not form double bond with hydrogen, it will form double bond with carbon. Then for the alkyne also, it will form triple bond with carbon, because hydrogen is not having the capacity to form a triple bond. So whenever the class of compound comes, class of compound is divided into three, that is alkane, alkene, and alkyne. So whenever alkane is present, that is ANE. So that's why it is a having a single bond. Carbon is having a single bond with the another. So here in this case, one of the example is methane. Then whenever alkene is present, so alkene in this case having a double bond. Okay, so carbon will form double bond with the another carbon. Then whenever alkyne is present, so in that case, the example is one of the ethyne, where carbon triple bond is present. Then comes the isomerism. So in organic chemistry, we come across some compounds which have similar number of atoms, but they differ in the physical and the chemical properties and are called as the isomers, and the phenomenon is known as the isomerism. So isomers have same molecular formula but differ in the arrangement of atoms within a molecule. So here in this case, we can say that the arrangement where the same molecular formula is there but differences in the arrangement of atoms here. So you can say that isomers have same molecular formula, but there is a different arrangement of atoms within a molecule. So we will see one of examples. There are three types of isomers: structural isomers, geometrical isomers, and enantiomers. Now in the structural isomers, you can say there are four number of carbons in the left hand side, and in the right hand side, whatever the structure is present, there also four carbons are present. But what is the difference? The number of carbon and hydrogen are similar in both the examples, but the difference is in their structure. As you can see the difference in the structure. So here the first one is the straight chain and the second one is the branch chain. So here in this case, whenever the number of carbon and number of hydrogen is similar in both the cases, but only the difference is there in their structure or arrangement. So that is known as the structural isomers. Then the second type is the geometrical isomers. Now here in this case, you can see that X is given in blue color. Carbon-carbon double bond is present and X are present. Now here in this case, in the first example, the X is present on the same side of the carbon-carbon double bond. But whereas in the second case, the X element or X compound is present in the opposite side of the double bond. So here, whenever this geometrical structure difference is there, so in that case, that is towards the same side or towards the opposite side. So there is a difference between them. So whenever this difference takes place in a geometrical pattern, so this is known as the geometric isomers. Then comes the enantiomers. Now enantiomers means what? They are the mirror image. For example, as you know that your left hand is the mirror image of your right hand. Okay. So in this case, here two examples are given. You can see that both the examples are having they are the mirror image of each other. So whenever any compound is the mirror image of each other, so then it is known as the enantiomers. Now cis-trans isomer is also one of the type of isomers. It also comes in geometrical isomers, as we have seen X in blue color, as you know here. The second one, geometric isomer, same way, it is also the example of geometric isomer, which is also known as the cis and trans isomer. So here CH3, or you can call it as methyl group, is present on the same side of the double bond, whereas here in the second example, methyl group is present on the opposite side of the double bond. So here there is a difference. Cis means on the same side and trans means on the opposite side. So this is also one of the type of isomers. Then the third point of the versatility of the carbon is regarding the hydrocarbons. Now hydro means hydrogen and carbons means carbon. So that means in short, we can say that the organic compound which is made up of carbon and hydrogen only are known as the hydrocarbons, because the name itself tells us that here only the presence of hydrogen and carbon is present. Then comes the classification of hydrocarbons. Now, whenever we are talking about the classification, so in this case, on the basis of structure and properties of hydrocarbons, they are classified into open chain and closed chain. Now, open chain structure means the straight chain structure, the branch chain structure. Whereas in closed chain, which examples are there? Benzene is the example where the ring is closed, as we have seen earlier. Okay, so these are all the examples of closed chain structure. Now, hydrocarbons, they can be divided into two, that is the aliphatic hydrocarbon and aromatic. Now, aliphatic means what? The organic compound having carbon and hydrogen, they are usually linked together in a chain, either a straight chain or a branch chain. So that is known as the aliphatic compounds. Whereas the aromatic compounds means what? Aromatic compounds are also known as arenes. So they are cyclic, they are planar compounds that represents or that resemble benzene in electronic configuration. So that is the aromatic hydrocarbons. Then aliphatic hydrocarbons are also divided into linear, cyclic, saturated and unsaturated structure. Now linear structure in the sense we can say that straight chain compounds. Cyclic means cyclic structure, as we have seen one of the example. Here, ring chain, you can see cyclic structure. Okay, the first one having 3 carbon, second one having 5 carbon, third one having 6 carbon. So the third one, the name of the example is, it is benzene. Okay, then propane, cyclic structure. Okay, so like pentane cyclic structure. So likewise, these are the example of the cyclic structures. Then saturated and unsaturated. So as you know that saturated compounds are those having a single bond, whereas unsaturated hydrocarbon compounds are those having a double bond. So double or triple bond whenever there is present, so that is known as the unsaturated hydrocarbon. But whenever there is a single bond, then we say it is a saturated hydrocarbon. Then comes the factors affecting the properties of hydrocarbons. Now, number of carbon atoms. Now, whenever there is a number of carbon atoms, how many carbon atoms are present? That also affect the properties of the hydrocarbons here. Because here in this case, what happens? Suppose the number is more. So if the number is more, so definitely there will be change in the properties of hydrocarbons. If the number is less, so naturally there will be also the change in the property of the hydrocarbons. The number of atoms are arranged. How it is arranged? Linearly arranged. In branch structure, it is arranged. In cyclic structure, it is arranged. So depending upon the arrangement, whether from that arrangement, we can break the bond of the element with which we want to react a compound. So that is also necessary, that which type of arrangement is present. Okay. Then now for example, if we can take the example of this cis and trans. Now here in this case, methyl group is present on the same side. That means it is increasing the density of the elements there. Okay. So then it will be easy to remove the hydrogen which is present on the opposite side. But it is a little bit difficult to remove the CH3 from this group. But whereas in trans arrangement, here density is not located, not concentrated at one place. So it is divided because both the methyl groups are present on the opposite side. So we can remove the atoms from the methyl group also because it is not densely located. Then comes the straight chain. Now, if straight chain is there, what are the advantages? What are the properties? So that also things affect. Straight chain is there, then that it becomes easier to react with any another compound. But whenever branch chain is there, that becomes little bit difficult. Then comes the ring structure. Ring structure means if it is a closed ring structure, then to break the bonds between carbon-carbon, it becomes very difficult because the bond is very strong. So it requires a vigorous condition to break that bond. So these are the factors which affect the properties of hydrocarbons. So we will revise in short the versatile nature of carbon. Okay, so there are 4 reasons for the versatility of carbon. First one is the catenation, second is the tetracovalency, third is the multiple bond formation, and the fourth is the isomerism. Now catenation, as we have seen that here with the help of examples, carbon can form bonds with the another carbon or with the other compound in a straight chain manner, or you can call it as linear chain, or either it can form in a branch chain like structure. For example, the branch chain structure is given here, the first example. Then it can form chains, either ring chain also it can form, or you can call it as a closed chain structure also it can form. So that's why this is one of the important factor for the versatile nature of carbon. It can form straight chain also, it can form branch chain also, and it can form closed chain also. So this is also one of the example. Then comes the tetracovalency. Now tetracovalency, as you know, tetra means 4. So that means if when you are writing the electronic configuration of carbon, you are writing 2, 4. Why? Because the atomic number of carbon is 6. So here in this case, the valence electrons are 4 and the valency is also 4. So that means the number of electrons required to complete the octet of carbon is 4. So that's why it forms 4 bonds. As carbon is having the high ionization energy and moderate electron affinity, so it will not either lose electron or it will not either gain electron. So that's why what it will do, it will, with the mutual sharing of electrons with the other element or with the same element, it will form bond. Okay, so that's why carbon forms a covalent bond. Why covalent bond? Because it is sharing its electrons. So whenever sharing of electrons takes place, in that case, it forms a covalent bond. So here examples are given: methane and carbon tetrachloride. Then we have seen what do you mean by the ionization energy. Okay, so here in this case, whenever the valence orbitals, whenever it is completely filled or half filled, in that case there is an increase in its stability. So because of the increase in its stability, what happens? It will not either lose electron or it will not either gain electron. So here you can see the electronic configuration, how the electrons are filled here. So it is half filled and it requires 4 more electrons to complete its octet. That's why it requires 4 bonds. It forms 4 bonds by the mutual sharing of electrons. Then here the structure of methane is also given. So here the middle one is the nucleus and it is surrounded by the electrons. So how it is forming 4 bonds with hydrogen. Now hydrogen is having 1 electron in its outermost shell, so it requires only 1 electron. That means the valency of hydrogen is 1. So it will form only 1 bond only with the carbon. It can only share 1 electron. So what carbon will do? It requires 4 electrons. So it will form 4 bonds with the 4 hydrogen. That means it will share 1 electron from each hydrogen. Then comes the multiple bond formation. So carbon can form multiple bond either with itself or with the another elements. So here, for example, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, and the carbon itself. Okay. Now carbon-carbon single bond and carbon-hydrogen single bond. These are the strong bonds, and that's why the compounds having the single bond, they are mostly stable bonds. Then carbon can form a multiple bond with the same element or with the another element. Now, on that basis, the class of compounds are considered. If there is single bond, then it is a class of alkane. If there is a double bond, then it is a class for alkene. And if it is a triple bond, then the class of compound will be alkyne. Then comes the isomerism. Now, isomerism in the sense is what? Whenever the compound is having the same molecular formula, but there is a difference in the arrangement of atom, that is known as the isomers. So here you can see the types of isomers. First one is the structural isomers, that is difference in the structure. Same number of carbon, same number of hydrogen is present, but the difference is only in the structure. First one is the straight chain and the second one is the branch chain. Then comes the geometrical isomers, where the you can see the X element or X compound is present on the same side of the double bond, and in the second one it is present on the opposite side of the double. That means arrangement is different, that's why it is geometrical isomerism. Enantiomers means what? Whenever the first compound is the mirror image of the another compound, so that is known as the enantiomers. That means here the same number of elements are present, but only the arrangement is little bit different. Then comes the cis-trans isomers. Now in cis-trans isomers, cis means having the compounds, or suppose here for example methyl groups are present on the same side of the double bond, whereas in the other side trans, in this trans isomers the methyl groups are present on the opposite side of the double bond. Then comes the hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbons means what? The organic compound which is made up of carbon and hydrogen only is known as the hydrocarbons. Then we have seen the classification of hydrocarbons. So depending upon the structure and properties of hydrocarbons, it is classified into open and closed chain. So in open chain, we can say it is an aliphatic hydrocarbon, and for closed chain, we can say it is an aromatic hydrocarbon. So for aliphatic is also divided into linear, cyclic, saturated, unsaturated. Whereas then in aromatic, aromatic means what? They are the cyclic planar compounds that resembles the benzene in the electronic configuration. Then the factors affecting the properties of hydrocarbons, there are five. Some of the factors are given. Number of carbon atoms. How is the number of carbon atoms? It is bigger or smaller, depends upon that the properties of hydrocarbons can be considered. Then how is the arrangement of atoms, whether it is a straight chain, whether it is a branch chain, whether it is a ring structure. So likewise, depending upon that, few of the factors affect the properties of that particular hydrocarbon. Okay. So now let's do some exercise. Now what are hydrocarbons? Now we had revised that hydrocarbons are those compounds containing hydrogen and carbon. So then comes the name the types of hydrocarbon. Now types of hydrocarbon we have seen here. On the basis of structure and properties of hydrocarbons, they are classified into open chain and closed chain structure. So here in this case, hydrocarbons divided into aliphatic and aromatic hydrocarbons. Then comes what are the causes of versatile nature of carbon? Four causes. We have seen that catenation, multiple bond formation, tetracovalency, and isomers. These are the four causes of versatile nature of carbon. Then comes what are isomers? So isomers means what? Whenever there is the compound having the same molecular formula but only difference in the arrangement of atoms takes place. So that is known as the isomers. So here, I hope you have understood today's topic. So in the next topic, we will study in detail about the factors affecting the properties of hydrocarbons and the further part. So thank you all. Thank you all the teachers and students and BMC Education Department. Thank you. And happy National Science Day to all. Hello, ma'am. Hello. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.